I wanted to talk a little bit about different types of mental health conditions. Um, why is my mouse not working? Okay, ranging all the way from depression to schizophrenia to anxiety to bipolar depression to. I'm not reading this off the internet, by the way, this is coming from my own mind. To various personality disorders. I'm just opening an app on my computer. Right. Yeah, it strikes me as quite interesting that doctors don't recommend basic things like exercise, social interaction, sunlight, and nature more, rather than just go for the pharmaceutical approach. I don't think the pharmaceutical approach really works. I mean, yes, obviously to a degree, it does. If you're a schizophrenic, you're going to need something like diazepam or something like that to stop your auditory and visual hallucinations, but even then, exercise, sunlight, and social interaction probably aren't going to be detrimental. Probably, I mean, there's been research into LSD and magic mushrooms. I mean, maybe they could be beneficial, but I'd have to do further reading into those. But yeah, schizophrenia is a very challenging one, so I think we'll leave that one out of the mix. But yeah, anxiety and depression, a lot of that could probably be just resolved, or at least ameliorated by exercise. And I don't think exercise of just running on a treadmill or exercise on your own is as beneficial as exercising with other people, basically, because then you have the social element and also the competitive element as well, and then also it engages the mind in an activity, whereas if you're running on a treadmill in a gym with loud music, the anxiety of having to look around at people around you and then the artificial environment as well, I can't see how that's going to be good for you. Basically, I mean, that's just common sense would dictate that. Yeah, I mean, obviously they have their own agenda. They're spending millions and millions of dollars on pharmaceuticals, so it's kind of inevitable that they want to push pharmaceuticals before they would push you going to exercise in nature or play sports with your friends, because that doesn't benefit them. And in many countries around the world, I'm sure physicians are probably paid to by pharmaceutical companies to dole out medication. So it puts them in somewhat of a moral quandary, and not really in a situation where they're looking to help the patient. Maybe they do know what would help the patient as to things I've just outlined, but they're going to push the pharmaceutical approach because obviously they're being paid to do that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I always wondered why they don't push the things that I've said, because they would definitely be of more benefit. Because if you're engaging in a sport, your mind is completely engrossed, completely in tune with your immediate environment, as opposed to any problems or any kind of things that are causing the anxiety, because you don't even have time to process those or register those. And then you have to take into consideration that you have the endorphins running through your brain when you're engaging in those kind of activities. So yeah, I think those should definitely be pushed more than just the pharmaceutical approach. I'm not saying the pharmaceutical approach doesn't help. I mean, hey, I have to take sleeping pills to induce sleep when I need sleep because I know that nothing else is going to cut it. I'm not saying what I just outlined is a panacea for everything, because it's not. Yeah, but I think it definitely doesn't do any harm. So yeah, and like I said, if people have conflicting interests as to not tell you the information that you should be receiving because they're receiving money from Big Pharma, then it's kind of inevitable that they will do that and maybe not tell you the things that you should know. And it also depends how well read you are yourself on something, rather than just simply relying on what your doctor or your physician is relaying to you, because from personal experience I also know that they actually don't always know what's best. So yeah, it's an interesting one.